Hiding recognition and fatigue. Well. Black people are so embarrassing. We literally have people being conditioned and brainwashed to hating other people because of the skin of their color, and they don't even realize. And one of the most greatest examples I've seen in recent times was the music festival which happened in the past few days in France, where a lot of people destroyed a car because they were jumping around and, you know, turning up and enjoying their time or whatever, right? And they destroyed the car, which was horrible. Hopefully that person, you know, had insurance, and the insurance is gonna cover that because that's what they're meant to do. But a lot of people saw this as an opportunity to again point out their racism and their hatred towards people who have a certain skin tone. Pattern recognition and fatigue. Usual suspects, doctors and engineers. These comments which are becoming more and more popular over time, because for some reason, because of someone's skin color, that's the reason why they do these things. It's in their DNA. You being ratchet, you twerking in front of Uber cars, you stomping on cars and acting like a monkey, acting like a wild animal is in your blood. It's in your DNA. That's what these people want you to believe, and they're voicing their opinions on the internet. Don't ever say these things to you in your face, by the way, but they're voicing it on the internet. Some people who are the same skin color as you are saying, well, I'm one of the good ones, like the Uncle Ruckus. They believe they're one of the good ones, or they are cursed with being black. And pardon me, by the way, like I'm sweating profusely because it's boiling out here, bro. It is boiling. Like it's like, I don't know what degrees it is, but it's boiling that much. I'm just sat down and I'm perspirating, bro. Like it's actually crazy. One of the biggest problems we're having this day and age is a lot of people cannot critically think. People can't think for themselves. They have a herd mentality. A lot of people are falling for these little games and these little propaganda, these things that are being done to divide us. People are being conditioned to hate people of a different culture, background, race, and religion to them. People are being conditioned to hate people of a different skin tone because you believe your enemy is somebody else because of the color of their skin, because of how they act in public, right? It's not because that person is just ignorant and whatever. Like I'm not here defending these people for the actions they've done. Let me not even, you know, go down that route, because every individual makes their own choices and they should live with those choices and consequences of whatever the choices may be, right? I shouldn't be punished as a black man because of how the next black man is acting. That has nothing to do with me. I'm an individual. What many people fail to realize is a lot of these issues are environmental issues. They are not racial issues. It's not the fact that somebody's black that they're gonna go around and act like a quote unquote wild animal, jumping on top of a car and having no brain and having no civilized way of being. Because even if you look at that video of people jumping and destroying that car, there's some white people on those cars. There's a few white people on those cars, but nobody's gonna point that thing out. This is not to divide or to point fingers like, oh look, so there's white people as well. That means that, you know, those people are innocent. Those people that were on the car are fools. We shouldn't be punished because of the ignorance or the lack of decorum of a certain few people. Like I'm not gonna be punished for something which I did not attend. Like this shit is dumb as hell, bro. We need to actually understand, right, that there's literally people who are paying big money to have certain narratives pushed, to have certain narratives be viral, to have certain narratives be shown, just so that they can show you why you need to hate somebody else because of the color of their skin. When I'm talking about environmental issues, what I need people to understand about what an environmental issue is like, think of, for example, if you've got like an Asian homie, right? Somebody who's Asian and they grow up in a black environment or a community which is dominated by people that are black. You might see that Asian person who comes from a different cultural background, a different background, he might start picking up some of the characteristics and some of the environmental influences around him. For example, common hairstyles that black people may have, which is like cornrows and waves, that type of stuff. They're gonna start adopting that, right? Because that's what they're seeing around them. It's just down to them as an independent and critical thinker to be like, oh wait, this is not who I actually am, if that's not who they want to be. But if they want to adopt that, that's down to them, if that makes sense. So with some of these people, right, this is why also you must understand, like, celebrities are also a big issue, because for example, this whole ratchetness, right, there are literal celebrities that are like an embodiment of being ratchet, ignorant, and of basically acting uncivilized and embodying that. I'm not gonna name any names. You guys can put two and two together, I'm sure. I'm not your enemy just because I'm black. You're not my enemy because you're white or because you're Asian or because of whatever you are. Look at Vinland Saga. You have no enemies, bro.
I have no enemies at all.
You having this mentality thinking like, oh, because somebody's black, that means they're my enemy. There's people who commit heinous crimes regardless of skin color, regardless of skin tone, regardless of cultural background. They just commit heinous crimes because that person there is a horrible person who just has an evil spirit inside them that commits the heinous crime, regardless of what they look like on the outside. And you shouldn't now be going and saying, okay, pattern recognition, I'm looking for people that have the same skin color to now commit the same crimes. Even in dating, this spans as well, where because I'm black, you assume that one, I'm packing, no comment. Maybe I'm packing, maybe I have a 1-inch shrimp. Who knows? You assume I'm packing because the typical stereotype of being black, right? BBC News type shit, right? You may also assume I'm a gangbanger, that I speak like I'm from the hood, somebody who's just gonna crash out on you every 2 seconds. Like I'm not somebody who's a calculated and clever individual. That's what they're gonna have you believe. I'm just a dancing monkey. I'm just, you know, free entertainment. I'm just somebody who's of low worth and low value. These are the things that are programmed into us from a young age because of environment. They'll put a lot of black people into a box, into a category. Hey, all you are is a gangbanger who wears Nike Tech Fleeks, can either just be a gangbanger, a rapper, a scammer, a trapper, and you're gonna have 20 baby mamas, and you're gonna leave and go grab some milk, and that's it. That's the popular narrative. And a lot of people fall into this popular narrative because they don't think for themselves. They don't think about, what do I want to be in life? Who am I without social programming and social conditioning? I made a video a while ago where I said Gen Z is tired of social programming. We are tired of the programming of, hey, here's what you are, here's what you do, here's how life is, deal with it. Why should I have to live like that? Why should I have to deal with that? Why can't I live my own way? Why can't I do some things differently? Why do I need to be punished for the mistakes of my parents, the mistakes of my ancestors, the mistakes of the people that came before me? Why am I being punished for somebody else who does a heinous crime because they have the same skin color as me? Why am I being punished for the mistakes of somebody who I may have known, somebody who I may have been around? Now I'm getting punished. Oh yeah, you're all in a group together. You're all crabs in the same bucket. Your own worst enemy is yourself, because if you allow yourself to be programmed and you allow these entities to come and infiltrate your mind and infiltrate your creativity and infiltrate your independent thinking and infiltrate your original thoughts, you're cooked. What do you do every time you see a viral post? Let me go straight to the comments. Let me see what the sentiment of this comment section is. What's the narrative that they're agreeing with? What are the comments that have the most likes? That's how you're gonna start thinking now. Even though you don't agree with what most of the popular comments are saying, you're like, wait, but I see this differently. But you can't say anything because you don't want to be disliked. You don't want to be brave and just be disliked. You don't want to be yourself. We need to bring back originality and independence. If you know you're not a ratchet person, you love reading books, right? Like me, I love reading mangas. I love reading books. I love anime. I've got anime action figures. I've got anime posters. I've got an anime book, for God's sake, right? I have action figures of my favorite superheroes, my favorite stories. You know, I've got so many different things that I love, so many different cultural influences. There's different music that I like. I like music by white people, music by black people, music by people from the 70s and 80s. You know, I love music from all different cultural backgrounds. I'm not gonna go into the public or the common sentiment or the common narrative just because that's what fits with what everybody else thinks like. What do I like? What do you like? These are the questions you must be asking yourself. What do you like? Forget what people like. What do you like? I realized I don't want to be around people who influence me to be a horrible person, and it takes a lot of self-awareness and self-reflection to understand these things. I don't personally like women who act ignorant and who are in the middle of the road twerking, but am I now gonna say, oh, see, all black women are just ignorant and ratchet and all of these things? You see, a lot of people lack perspective as well. I've lived in many different countries. I lived in Zimbabwe for over 10 years. I lived in South Africa for over a year. I lived in England. I was born here, right? I've lived here for like over 12 years at this point. You know, 14 years I think it is now. I don't even know how long it is. It's been a while, right? Continuously. I've lived here for a while. I've seen different perspectives. I've seen different social classes. I've been in different environments. If you had perspective, you would understand. Like, for example, if you see people in Africa or in South Africa or Zimbabwe, those are all the only countries I've lived in, so those are the only countries I can speak on. In Zimbabwe, nobody's gonna be in the middle of the road twerking. You ain't gonna see that. South Africa, no one's gonna be in the middle of the road twerking. You ain't gonna see that. There are actually people that are very intelligent, people that are very talented, people that are very artistic, people that are different. People just have this westernized idea of the black man, the black woman. This westernized idea, which is ignorance, which is a crasher, which is somebody who is unintelligent. You must understand where you truly come from. You must understand your ancestors, your heritage. And I'm not just talking specifically on black people. Understand the old world. Understand the true true world. Most people don't understand true history. They don't understand the true origins of where we actually come from. Most people don't understand the true origins of where we as a collective come from, humanity. Look into where you originally come from, and then you understand that, okay, wait a second, my brother who's Asian, my brother who's white, my brother who's Caucasian, my brother who's Indian, my brother who's Pakistani, they are not my enemy. Move like Dolphin from Vinland Saga. Okay, cool, in season 1 you're trying to crash out. In season 1 you're moving like everybody's my enemy. Yo, you killed my father whose name is Thor's. You killed my father. Okay, cool, I'm gonna kill you, Askeladd. I'm gonna kill you. And then season 2 you realize, oh damn, I've got no enemies, bro. And then everybody starts clowning you, saying, oh damn, this is Farmland Saga. Vinland Saga is a representation of life. Your season 1 might span 10, 20, 15, 30 years of you thinking everybody around you is your enemy. Oh, Asian people are my enemy, black people are my enemy. That's the reason why. Because one person or 2 people or 3 people or 5 people or 10 people who are from a certain demographic did something horrible to you. Now you assume and you're like, yo, pattern recognition. That is confirmation bias. You don't even know what is confirmation bias. Confirmation bias is when you are looking for something to confirm it. Confirmation bias. For example, you buy a car. Like I remember when I first got my car, a Vauxhall Astra Excite 2015, the greatest car of all time, the fastest car ever, right? I'd never seen the car before. I didn't really used to see the car much in traffic. As soon as I got the car, now I start seeing the car everywhere because my mind is subconsciously looking for pattern recognition. When I'm on to the next thing, okay, I'm a BMW M3 competition is the one that I want. I never used to see it before. I used to think it was rare. Now I see it 20 times a day. When you start understanding how your own mind works in terms of it's always looking for pattern recognition. Oh, one woman cheated on me. That now means the entire species of women is the root of all evil, right? Guess what? If you want to look for evil, you see evil. Ever since I adopted the mentality of I have no enemies, guess what? I have no enemies. That means nobody can bring me down. Although, yes, they will try. People will try bringing you down because you're not my enemy. You're not important enough. You see, when you make somebody your enemy or you make somebody so important to where it's like, oh, see, this is exactly why they're my enemy. Guess what? You've given them power. I've got no enemies. Creators who go viral consistently understand something, right? Human psychology and sensationalism. What is human psychology and sensationalism? For example, if I make the title of this video, Black people are embarrassing, psychologically that's going to trigger people that are black who are very emotional, and they're going to click on the video to be like, what is this person talking about? I'm going to speak my mind. That's human programming. That's psychological. If I put something mad in the thumbnail, for example, if I put a woman in the thumbnail, if I put a woman in the picture on the screen, people who are lustful or people who are curious or people who love the way women look or whatever, or who have something to say about that woman are going to click on that video. That's human nature. When you understand human nature at different levels, that's when you actually start understanding, oh wait, somebody's trying to form this narrative to make me hate certain people. I'm just gonna leave the video there. I'm not gonna go into any more detail, but just understand you're being bamboozled and fooled into believing that certain people, like, just don't punish me or don't, be ignorant towards me because of the actions of you. That's what I'm gonna say. Okay, so I appreciate you guys for watching. Subscribe and like the video if you're new. Check out the last videos, and I'm gonna catch you in the next one, man. Love. Whew.